Welcome to State of Tech. My name's Jared, and today we're taking a look at the UDI RC Venom, or the Udirc Venom RC. It's been known by a couple of different names on the Amazons of the world. And last year in January, I purchased this boat because where our studio is located, our office, the parking lot floods when we get some rain. And, you know, we're out here in California. We don't get a whole lot of rain, especially over the last couple of years. But last year it rained for a couple of days, and I thought this is a great opportunity to get a little RC boat. So last year I picked up this little RC boat, drove it around a little bit, made a quick little video, and then that was it. Well, this year it's been raining like crazy, and my lake outside of our office here has never been bigger. So I took a brief opportunity in between it stopping raining for a few minutes to drive the boat, charged it up for the first time in probably a year because it'd just been sitting, and was able to go out and just have a lot of fun driving it around. Now, this is a RC boat with more of a RC car style RC controller. It goes on the 2.4 gigahertz range, so you're not going to have to worry about conflicts with other frequency ranges. It, you know, creates that pretty unique connection between the boat. The boat has a very small little battery inside, which you can charge using the enclosed or the included little USB dongle. So you just basically pop the lid off right here. I have the battery over on the charger right now. I just got done driving this boat for a good solid, I'd say 15 minutes of just wide open, taking corners, just spinning out and having fun in the water. The boat stays relatively dry on the inside. There isn't any moisture on the inside that happened outside of me taking the lid off and a couple of drops getting in there. And the boat did flip over a couple of times. I took a couple of hard corners, a little too close to shallow ground, and it would flip over. But this boat will run in a really small amount of water. I mean, I'm just driving it around in a parking lot puddle, basically. Yes, it's a large puddle, but there are, you really only need about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of depth in water to drive this thing. Of course, if you're going to maneuver around, you might want a little bit more depth just because when it does carve, you don't want it hitting the bottom or anything like that, or you don't want it hitting anything because it does have a protruding, prop and everything at the bottom. You don't want to be scraping that on anything. But this little boat's super durable. I typically, because I don't want to get my feet wet, I didn't come to work with boots or anything like that on. I'll just drive it straight out of the water and it just kind of skates across the asphalt so that I could pick it up. And then I just toss it back into the water, take off, it starts pumping the water through, grabs traction in the water, and just is so much fun to drive. What's really cool is you can get extra batteries for next to nothing. I found them on Amazon for $6.99 with free shipping, and then I also found a multi-charger that allows you to charge up to 3 batteries at once. So if you had 3 batteries, you could literally get about an hour of fun out of this boat. You can buy the boat for under 50 bucks. When I bought it, it was like $35. Right now it's $45. I've seen the price fluctuate here and there, so I put a link in the description below so that you can check that out. And then also there's a link in the description below to the battery and the multi-charger, which if you just want to grab your boat, head to your nearest small body of water, whether you have a swimming pool or a small lake or little river that doesn't move too fast. I mean, it's got a lot of power and it's fast, but I wouldn't put it in a river where water is flowing by fast. I don't necessarily know if the boat would be able to keep up. It is not, though it is fast, it is not a very powerful boat due to its small size. But it's just so much fun for such a small price, something that you can just charge up, toss in the water, drive around, and just have a good time carving in and out of the water. And, it's just a fun little boat. It is powerful. It is fast. Yes, it's not as powerful and fast as a bigger boat, something with a bigger motor, but this is meant to kind of just whet the palate, to get out there and try it out and have fun. Out here in California, I don't have a body of water available to me all year round to drive the boat, so I just look for opportunities when it's nice and wet outside and there's standing water that I could drive it in. If I had an opportunity, I'd probably buy a bigger RC boat because it's so much fun to drive these. They're just a blast. I understand why it's a hobby of a lot of people. So the boat comes with a little stand, which is nice because it gives you somewhere to set it down. The battery snaps right into this little pod here, and then you connect the battery right here. By connecting the battery, you are powering on the boat, but you actually need to set the boat down into the water for it to completely power on. The act of the water, of the boat being in the water, is what actually will power the boat on. So if you have the battery plugged in and you're hitting the throttle and it's not doing anything, it's because you need to put the boat in water. You can actually test your boat out, maybe in a small tub of water, or fill up your bathtub and test the boat in there. But the boat actually does need, maybe a good 10 to 15 feet for it to reach top speed. It will kind of putt around, and then once it is able to build up enough pressure, I think, the propeller, and then, it's pumping water through it. It's propelling and moving at a much faster rate. And so you're able to carve around, basically get this boat sideways in the water. It's so much fun to drive around. So those are little things that I didn't bother reading instructions. I plugged it in, plopped it down into the water, and then, at first thought it was broken because it wasn't working. So keep in mind, you do have to plop it down into water for it to work. So I do recommend cleaning your boat after you're done, especially if you parking lot race it like me. Obviously, parking lots are dirty and the water is just becomes a rinsing method for all of that dirt and grime. And so my boat ends up with kind of a layer of filth on it. And so I take it and clean it. And then I'll even fill up the sink and stick the back end of the boat in it and pump water through the cooling system here so that the cooling system doesn't end up with any grime or anything in it. The remote itself operates with 4 AA batteries. 4 AA batteries are going to last you a long time. You also have steering and throttle trim, which you probably would need if you're wanting to just drive in straight lines. You may want to make sure that it's not veering to one side or the other. But I find the most fun of driving this boat is not in driving in long straight lines. It's turning and curving and carving through the water and doing, just driving it and not going in a straight line. I mean, yes, it is kind of fast for how tiny it is, but to me, it's not the top speed. It's carving and taking corners, and there's a semi-truck leg in the water out, and I drove it around that. And it's just obstacles. It's just kind of fun. So I don't necessarily, the steering trim doesn't really bother me, and the throttle trim, whatever, it doesn't bother me either. I haven't had to make any adjustments to it, but it's a ton of fun to drive. It charges up in a hurry. Even if you only have 1 battery, you're going to be able to get out there and enjoy it and have a good time. So check out the links in the description below. This is definitely a valid purchase for all people out there who have a body of water near them and want something fun to do in it. So check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel here on State of Tech, where we review technology and other fun things as often as possible. You'll get notified when we put out new videos. And if you like this one, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comment section below is a great place to ask them. And we hope to see you here soon on State of Tech. Thanks.